Better off than playing this way. Was that too soon?
Yeah,
No.
I didn't understand what you said until like the delay.
Yeah. Okay, it's a good run, you know. Yeah.
Just in time.
All right, folks, I'd like to call the County Council, City of Plattsburgh Finance and Community Development Committee meeting to order September 8th, 2022 at 5:02 p.m. First order of business, I will take an approval of the minute, the motion to approve the minutes of the August 11th, 2022 Finance and Community Development Committee meeting. Motion by Councilor Bob, second by Councilor Kelly. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Draft resolution 2.1, the draft resolution authorizing the survey of the former Champlain Valley Transportation Union campus and adjacent tax parcel. Motion, Councilor Canales, second by Councilor Bob. Discussion. This item is in line with a mapping the survey of that parcel with the hopeful intention of marketing that parcel for potential sale. There is a remediation being done by the Air Force Base on that parcel still, and we are going to wait until that happens. But until then, there are subdivided, there's the ability to subdivide and parse out some of that land there already that's currently in use for potential sale. I believe that the council is also provided an appraisal of that parcel that goes in combination with this item here. So this item here is the first surveying of the entire parcel to see where the lines are. And then subsequent to this survey, we'll come back and we'll do a survey for subdivision to subdivide out some of the parcels that will be eventually sold.
So this is just to map out the properties on there?
Correct. Right now, it's just to map out the entire parcel out there. I think it's about 5 acres or so. Again, but subsequent to this, after this work is done, and after we do the title search, we'll come back to council to do another survey to subdivide some of the parcels out there based on the appraisal.
Physical look.
Yeah, I saw in the resolution all the information, but I didn't see where the funding was supposed to be.
Yeah, I like with that. I'm gonna try to see a contract first.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any further discussion? Roll.
Counselor, I'm sorry. Canales,
Yes.
Counselor Kelly,
Yes.
Counselor Dick, no. Counselor Talon, yes. Counselor Bob, yes. Counselor Moore,
Yes.
Carried. Item 2.2 draft resolution authorizing revising capital project 85110.19-2022 Creek Center demolition motion. Councilor Bob, second, Councilor Canales, discussion.
yes, I have a question. So,
Sure.
this capital project is on the 2023 budget, according to the capital plan that we approved in January. So this says 2022, but it's actually 2023.
Yeah, I'll explain some of that, but the capital project, the capital program, which was approved in 2022, included great demolition for 2023. This is an amendment. No, was it 2022 or 2023?
23.
It was listed for 2023 as an expenditure plan.
This is so this would be an adjustment to the 2023. That's correct.
Now, this would be in a capital project resolution to budget for the cost $10,575 for the planning for the demolition.
But the question is that was approved for 2023 capital programs. This is 2022 capital plan.
The 930,000 that's listed was for 2023 demolition. It wasn't part of the 2022.
Right.
So the 2022 edition, we're putting in is 10,575 for the plan.
Gotcha. That's it.
That doesn't show in 22 that the 930 was to be planned for. It's kind of.
Right. So it says here, I guess then I'm confused why it says what it says. Just authorizing and revising capital project, and then it lists project 2022 Creighton Center demolition. We don't have such an item that improves this way.
The revision is that the date's being changed because this was proposed back in August. So that's the revision. But yeah, there was no budget for this in 2022. So our expenditure plan is that we don't budget for capital expenditures until you, as a council, authorize appropriations to spend the money.
So wouldn't it be more proper for us to do a budget amendment then? Capital budget.
It would be a
amendment?
capital expenditure plan change. Be moving it back into 2022 from 2023, but the only thing that we're saying we're going to spend in 2022 thus far is a 10,575 plan to analyze and research what's going to take it tomorrow. We're not saying we're going to spend 930,000 in 2022. I guess you could say on that resolution that that was part of the 23 expenditure plan for the 930,000.
And it's,
Yeah.
I'm just confused about the way this word is.
But you can see that the revised amount that we're putting in is only for the 10,575 spending.
Well, it says here. Sorry. It says here, 2020, I'm looking at the document. 2022 capital plan, 930,000, create center demolition, that's not accurate. It should read 2023 capital plan, create center demolition.
So that can be revised.
Yeah, it'll need to be revised, especially
You can do that.
so that it looks, so it's accurate.
Yeah.
So can I make a motion to revise it? Yes, you can. All right.
Motion on the floor to revise. Second. Councilor Kelly, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. But what we're asking is that there still is a 2022 expenditure or revision to the capital project with an expenditure in 2022 for that amount. That doesn't change.
Right, the 1070, the 10,575
Correct.
is still here, it's on the table.
Correct. Any further discussion, any further clarification, any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Canal?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Dick? No. Counselor Talon? No. Counselor Bob? Yes. Counselor Moore?
No,
CDO, 3 yeses.
Yes.
Mayor? The affirmative.
Carried. Item 2.3, draft resolution authorizing Creighton Center demolition bid and project management motion. Councilor Bach, second by Councilor Canales, discussion.
So, this bid. We can see where the direction of this is taking us. One of the questions I had, maybe this is actually more appropriate for new business. Is what is going to be done to winterize the building? Would that be more appropriate under new business? I guess it would be more appropriate for new business if I do a question.
Again, we won't have an answer to it, so if you allow me to do some work and get an answer to it, I can respond in kind.
So,
More appropriate.
when we did tour the building and I talked with the superintendent, I asked him what would need to be done so that, pipes don't burst, for example. There's no electricity going into the building. And he explained what the process would be, so I didn't know what the plan was going to be from the city's perspective, so that it doesn't have further damage that would be permanent. So, hoping we could get an update on that at some point, winterizing the building.
Sure.
When did this bid go out for KAS to do this?
The date on the proposal was August 9th.
Were they the only ones that responded?
It's professional services, and KAS has performed similar work for us on multiple demolitions in the past few years. The MLB site on Green Street and the demolition of the former Glen Falls National Bank Street. Back on Margaret Street, they performed this exact same scope of work for both of those projects, and they did very well, so I thought it would be a good thing to have them on board for this as well.
Because you awarded it, but it didn't really go out for bid, am I understanding?
As professional services, they're exempt from most.
And it's also because it's under specific threshold for cost, right? Isn't that a factor of it? This is only 2,500.
Actually, professional services, there is no cost limit associated with it. There are some best practices that we follow. If you have professional services scope of work that is above a certain dollar amount, it does behoove us to put out a public bid, but for something along the lines of 10,000 or so, it's usually acceptable to simply seek a single bid and qualify for renewal.
So they specialize in asbestos abatement.
Among others,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there asbestos in that building?
there is asbestos on the roof, yes.
On the roof?
And I believe that asbestos report was provided to council
Couple months back.
a couple months back.
Yeah.
When we did an asbestos survey in multiple city buildings. Any further discussion?
I just feel like we're really rushing on this. It feels like, there are conversations that are being had now that probably should have been had 20 years ago, but now they are starting to be had and just I think a little more time would be good on this. So I'd like to make a motion to table it, if I could.
You can make the motion.
I would like to make a motion to table it.
One second, that motion.
Motion on the floor, David. All in favor? Opposed? Aye. We do a roll call. They'll do a roll call, please.
Counselor Canala,
No.
Counselor Kelly,
No.
Counselor Gibbs,
Yes.
Counselor Talon.
Yes.
Counselor Bob,
No.
Counselor Moore,
Yes,
3 yeses and 3 noes.
Oh, sorry.
3 yeses, 3 noes for table. So you have to,
Yes, Tim,
you
no.
want to say no?
No, you didn't.
No?
I agree with Councilor Talon. I'm sure we've all received various messages both for and against. I've received any messages in favor of demolition in the building. We know that the YMCA is going to be in the works of building a facility that's years down the line, if anything materializes. A lot of concept fall in place for that. I think it's an effort we could get some help from county legislators. We already know that Assemblyman Jones is, was ready to help us with $100,000. We don't have an electrical report. We don't have an engineer's report. There's a lot of things we don't have. And we're moving forward to demolition of the building. I'm not sure what else could go in that place. It's parkland. And my fear is that we would demolish the building and we'll be looking at an empty lot in perpetuity. My house is about that big building. It's not that old. I think that I agree with you. It's rushing the process.
well, yeah, in the scope of buildings, 50 years is nothing. Our buildings downtown are way over twice that age, and they're still in service. I have gotten a lot of public comment myself, and the overwhelming majority of people that have contacted me are in favor of keeping that building, and I don't see, my own opinion on it is it can be restored and with not that great a cost. That's our building and we can fix it up. We should fix it up. But I'm gonna say all my big arguments for next week, but I'm just saying it can be done and it should be done. That's an important building here in the city of Glasgow. There's no reason not to fix it up. We haven't put a dime in it in 50 years. So to put what we should have put in there all those other years is beyond me why we would not do that. That building is structurally sound. That's all I'm gonna say is.
Thank you for
Another
that.
thing, I've gotten completely the opposite feedback. I've gotten one postcard that was in favor of not demoing Creed. I've gotten multiple voicemails and had conversations with people in the public, and I've gotten emails which I forwarded to other people. I know that this building is very important to many people in this community and that it has a lot of strong emotional ties. But what people do need to understand is that there are people who do hold the exact same view. There are people who hold much more extreme views than what I had expected to encounter. And it did surprise me because I had bought into the narrative that is so pervasive on Facebook that this was the only belief that there was. So as I then did get feedback from the community and people who weren't involved in that, I began to learn that that's not the only viewpoint. My personal perspective is that this building has never been good at the things it was intended to do. It was built poorly to begin with. It's an eyesore. It is not appropriate in the place that it is. It doesn't actually serve all members of our community. And what we should have there is something that does. And this reminds me of the Couch Street situation in that it's just kicking it down the can further and further and further. So I feel that action needs to be taken now so that solutions can start now.
Well, the solution is to remedy the building, fix it.
That's one solution.
And I haven't heard anything like what you've heard. I have been stopped all over on the street. Why are we tearing that? Okay, I don't know who you're talking to.
Right, but I'm not lying.
talk to.
Right, but I mean, I'm not lying. So I've got calls and emails from the exact different people.
Counterfeit.
We're not really here to discuss the merits of demolishing the building. We're here merely to discuss the proposal that KAS Incorporated do a study on what it would cost to demolish the building. What it would take to demolish the building. And that the discussion that we're having is a good one, but I think it's one that should come a little later, perhaps at next week's council meeting. We're only here to move this to the agenda for next week. But since we opened this can of worms, I will say that the feedback I've gotten from my ward is that it should be torn down, and there's some pretty emotional reasons for doing that. The people in my ward feel as though the crate brothers who donated the money to build the crate weren't really honored, and they, I'm sure you may have heard the same thing. The Crate brothers grew up on the south end, and they wanted that facility to be for south end kids. It turned out being a hockey rink. That unfortunately most of the kids that they were thinking of couldn't afford to buy the equipment or pay the annual fees for ice time. So it never started the way it was intended. It ended badly. And then to make matters worse, it was turned into a gymnasium after being a hockey rink for several years. Well, that was not a good move either. So there were lots of things that should have been done to make that transition that weren't done. And we see the results of that today. Now, the roof leaks. We have no electricity. Water sketchy.
Would you tear your house down if your roof started leaking, Mike?
The AstroTurf is not really usable anymore. It needs to be replaced. The estimate to fix that building, to bring it up to a standard where people feel comfortable using it, is $4 million. And if somebody on this council wants to come up with a proposal for $4 million, then let's hear it. Let's entertain it. But I don't really see that happening. And even when you restore that building to its former status, it's still outdated. My grandchildren go play sports all over New England and the Northeast, and they come back to say that, wow, that facility at so-and-so city was really, really nice. And I say to the people of the city of Plattsburgh, we deserve the same. We deserve a facility that is top notch. Why not? How is it that other cities can do that and we can't? I'll say one more thing before Councilman Moore jumps in here. I see him chomping at the bit there. But the one more thing I want to say is, if that leaky roof, if that lack of electricity, if the water problem existed in my home would be condemned. And I really believe that should be the fate of trade.
Wouldn't fix it.
One other thing I will say is that our insurance carrier, our liability insurance carrier, has chimed in. I believe Mr. Marks probably knows more about this than me. Might be able to elaborate. But they chimed in and they said the building should be closed, should be boarded up. And they also said that we probably should not have conducted tours there. It would have been better to have done it virtually and have, real life humans inside that building. So anyway, anything else to add, Mr. Martin?
No, they're just saying that it should be boarded up and secured to keep everybody that might enter it or want to enter safe from getting injured and also keep the building from vandalism, animals entering, creating more damage. Just lock it up and keep it tightly locked up until it's decided what to do with it.
Yes. And as far as, getting help to build a new facility, there are numerous people in the community who are chomping at the bit to start this process. One of them being Billy John, who said he'd be happy to see what the state can do for us. The other being the YMCA. They very much would like to build a dome facility on their property. On New York Road, so we have a lot of opportunity. We just, I just feel so sad that we, as someone said earlier, we didn't do something about this. 10 years ago or 20 years ago, we had plenty of opportunities. I begged the police for funds to fix our infrastructure, including the Great Center. We could never get it approved in the budget, but I'm glad to say that came now. Mayor Rosenquist has thrown quite a bit of money into that park repairs, and that's a great thing. But anyway, I just think, we probably ought to, again, hold this discussion until next Thursday when we actually vote on it, if we decide to move it to the agenda, which I would recommend that we do.
Well, I respectfully disagree with your line of thinking, Councilor Kelly, but I do agree that this isn't the time for this forum. I think it should be when we have a vote, so I will agree on that. This isn't the time to have a big discussion. I have a lot more to say, but let's stop right here. You're right.
So I would recommend that we call the question. Roll call.
Counselor Canale?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
No.
Counselor Talon?
No.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
No,
Yes, and positive. Carried. 3.1, discussion 2022 year-to-date report. This is an annual or monthly report provided to council, broken down month to month, and gives the most comprehensive snapshot of city finances that we can provide at the time, other than if you're on ClearGov, then you can probably get a week-to-week update. But this is a good graphical representation of where we're at in expenses and revenues. Any questions? 3.2 draft resolution budget adjustment, general fund, police and fire vehicle supplies. Motion, Councilor Canal, second. Councilor Bob, discussion. This is an adjustment due to rising fuel costs and a budget adjustment to cover those fuel costs through the rest of the year. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Counselor Canale?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes,
Carried. Draft resolution budget adjustment, general, rec complex, water, sewer, library funds, IT, managed service cost motion. Councilor Bob, second by Councilor Canales, discussion. Roll call.
Counselor Canale?
Yes.
Counselor Kelly?
Yes.
Counselor Gibbs?
Yes.
Counselor Talon?
Yes.
Counselor Bob?
Yes.
Counselor Moore?
yes.
Carried. So there is an opportunity for public comment if anybody would like to come and share their thoughts and concerns with the council on any topic. Is there any new business that has come before this committee? And Councilor Gibbs, I will get that information back to you.
Okay, so, Super said that it would take roughly a month for Public Works, a couple of Public Works employees to drain all the fluids out of the pipes and shave some antifreeze in there so that the pipes don't burst.
Okay.
And that we don't actually cause damage from neglecting the building in the winter time when there's no electricity in there. I would like an update for the council.
Sure.
I don't know when that's.
I said it a couple times, we'll say it again. I will provide that update and a timeline for doing that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else come from council? Motion to adjourn. Motion by Councilor Bond, second by Councilor Gibbs. All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, folks.